Unsafe speed. Failed to yield. Weather? That's what the crash report prints. It lists outcomes, not causes. It hides the real trigger. Mindset, preparation, and technique. Here's the best example. Driver brakes hard mid-corner. The front washes. The car skates wide. Paperwork calls it lost control. Reality says bad inputs erased grip. The damage spreads fast. One bad habit cascades into a wreck, lawsuits, and a brutal insurance hike. Fix these hidden mistakes and you don't just avoid crashes, you starve disasters before they form. This video will change how you drive forever. Watch closely. Your hands follow your eyes. Target fixation is silent and relentless. Your eyes lock on the hazard. Your hands steer toward it. You clip the thing you stared at. Here's the fix. Force your vision to the exit line. The gap, not the threat. Turn your head early. Paint your path with your eyes, then drive the car through that line. The damage spreads fast when you keep glancing at the curb you fear. The overconfidence wall hits on day one back, or the first drive in a newer, faster car. Your skill sits cold. The vehicle's limits sit higher. That mismatch is a trap. Warm up for 10 minutes. Smooth throttle, early braking, wide margins. Rebuild feel before you trust it. Pride won't catch the slide. Discipline will. Tunnel vision, highway hypnosis. Start subtle. Your gaze locks dead ahead. Peripheral awareness collapses. You miss the lane drifter, the brake sparkle, the tire tread. Enforce a scan cadence. Every few seconds, mirrors, side windows, horizon, instruments. Reset your eyes deliberately. Say it softly if you have to. Mirrors, left, right, far. This isn't busy work. It's oxygen for your situational awareness. Failure to reset is a silent killer at speed. After 45 to 60 minutes, attention phrase. Microsleeps don't announce themselves. At 70 miles per hour, 3 seconds blind is a football field gone. Build a reboot cycle. Pull off, hydrate, breathe. 2 minutes out of the seat resets blood flow and vision. Set a silent timer or anchor it to fuel stops. Ignore it, and the road will cash in your margin. The angry drive rewires your brain toward impact. Aggression narrows vision, pushes late braking, and tempts dive bomb moves. You feel fast, but your judgment lags. The fix is blunt. Add buffer. Double your following distance. Narrate threats out loud for 30 seconds. Closing gap, merge left, blind crest. It flips your brain from rage to scanning. You can't analyze and rage at the same time. I'll make it bias loves yellow lights and sketchy lefts. That squeeze through the stale yellow, it isn't a win. It's a lottery ticket with terrible odds. Pre-commit to hard stops when the light shifts to amber inside the decision zone. On left turns, demand a clean gap with space for the unexpected stall or pothole. If it feels tight, it's already bad. Distraction. Creep is how clean drivers join the statistics. A quick check of the phone. A fast playlist swap. Your eyes leave the road, your brain follows the screen. Lock a no-touch rule under motion. Set navigation and audio before you shift out of park. If a change is essential, pull into a lot. Here's the problem. You think you're quick. You're not. The consequences are brutal. Now stitch these together. Your eyes set your path. Your mood sets your margin. Your scan cadence feeds your decisions. The pattern here is simple. Train the eyes to the exit, warm up the brain. Before you push, refresh attention on a schedule, and kill the emotion before it kills your range of vision. Even a perfect mindset won't save you if your setup and positioning feed the trap. The car you place is the risk you own. Next, we fix the pre-crash setups that box you in and erase your outs. Before the first mistake even happens, most crash reports won't mention the silent mechanical failure that set the stage. They'll say slick road or unsafe speed. But here's the problem. Neglected hardware turns normal inputs into chaos. Tires first. They are your only contact patch. Age hardens rubber long before tread wears out. Past 6 years, grip drops, even if the grooves look healthy. Cold. Mornings make it worse. Underinflation sags the sidewalls, overheats the carcass, and lengthens stopping distance. Overinflation shrinks the contact patch and makes ABS work overtime. I've seen shoulders feathered like sandpaper from chronic understeer. The consequence is simple. On a wet merge, that dead aged tire slides like it's on glass. Protocol: check date codes, run pressures weekly when cold, and replace based on age and condition, not just tread depth. The pavement doesn't read your budget. Brakes are next. The system only works if all parts share the load. Glazed pads plus grooved rotors equal marginal friction. Old brake fluid holds water. Water boils and the pedal sinks. That's fade. You'll see it on long descents. The first stop is fine. The fourth is a prayer. A BS masks driver error, but it can't invent friction. Service intervals are not a suggestion. Flush fluid approximately every 2 years. Sooner if you tow or descend mountains. If the pedal feels soft or the steering wheel shivers under braking, you're already late. Suspension control dictates everything your tires try to do. Blown struts don't just feel floaty, they let the tire bounce, which breaks contact. Hit a mid-corner ripple and the car jiggles instead of tracking. Worn control arm bushings turn precise steering into soup. You turn, the car thinks about it. Then it remembers. On crash paperwork, that reads like a drift wide or failure to maintain lane. Reality? Neglected dampers, erased grip when you asked for it. Replace tired shocks and bushings before they become a courtroom exhibit. Alignment is silent, but savage. A front toe-out problem? Choose the insides of your tires can make the car dart unexpectedly. Excessive negative camber from hitting curbs or using cheap lowering kits wears down the inner shoulder of the tire, the part you don't see unless you look closely. Then, in the rain, the car hydroplanes early because the inner rubber is bald. The fix is both boring and essential. Inspect all tread faces, not just what you see while standing up. Check the alignment after impacts. Potholes or tire swaps. Stability is geometry plus rubber. Steering and wheel bearings matter more than most owners admit. Play in a tie rod means vague direction and inconsistent toe, underload. A humming wheel bearing means rolling resistance and heat. Heat is friction. Friction is failure. When you don't expect it. Add a panic swerve and the weak side walks away from you. The damage spreads fast when the front end is loose. Cooling and charging systems are the quiet saboteurs of judgment. Overheating mid-traffic triggers panic. Drivers swerve for shoulders, eyes off mirrors, steam clouding the windshield. Old belts, tired hoses, corroded battery terminals, and a failing alternator force these emergencies at the worst times. Replace before failure, if your volt light flickers or the temperature needle creeps. That's not trivia. That's an early warning. Lights and wipers are basic, but they decide your sight distance. Hazy headlight lenses throw light like a candle through fog. Dead taillights erase you from the driver behind you. Hardened wiper blades smear water into glare. At highway speed, that smear is a blindfold. Replace blades twice a year and restore headlight clarity. If you can't stop inside what you can see, you're overdriving. Night and rain don't forgive neglect. Driver aids are tools, not force fields. ABS, ESC, lane keep, collision alerts. They're not magic. Dirty sensors and cracked bumper covers blind radar. Misaligned cameras after a windshield replacement turn lane centering into lane wandering. When these systems fail, the driver overtrusts and discovers the truth too late. Calibrate after glass work and body repair. Keep sensor windows clean. Use aids, but practice as if you don't have them. Seat, wheel, and pedal setup are part of vehicle condition. If you sit too far back, you can't apply full brake pressure without lifting your heel. If your seat is too low, you lose sight over crests and bury your knees under the wheel. You need a locked triangle: hips back, shoulders into the seat. Wrists at the top of the wheel with elbows slightly bent, knees at a comfortable bend with full pedal travel. This isn't comfort, it's control. Cargo and load are physics, not preference. A roof box raises your center of gravity and catches crosswinds like a sail. Overloaded trunks move your rear roll center and lengthen stopping distance. Loose items become projectiles. In a sudden stop, a 10-pound toolbox hits like a sledge. Tie it down, balance the load. If the car squats or leans oddly, you've already shifted the limits in the wrong direction. Finally, fuel and filtration. Starving modern high-pressure pumps with cheap fuel or running near empty overheats the pump. Clogged air filters choke the engine and mess with throttle response. Both issues show up in the worst moment. A left turn across traffic, a hesitation, a stall. Crash paperwork will blame failure to yield. The cause was maintenance neglect. These aren't fluff checks, they're the foundation. If the hardware is sketchy, your technique becomes a gamble. Fix the car first, then fix the driver. The invisible malfunctions never make it to the report, but they write the ending. Ignoring the out is how clean drivers get pinned. You pace door to door with a semi and a crossover, and suddenly there's no shoulder, no gap, no plan. Always keep an escape lane. Stagger yourself so there's open space ahead or beside you. Don't match speed next to another car. Pass with purpose, or hang back and own a pocket of air. Space isn't comfort, it's survival. The stoplight trap turns calm intersections into rear-end magnets. Don't stop centered behind a bumper with your wheels straight. Offset your car slightly left or right so you can see the front tires of the vehicle ahead touching pavement. That gives you a path to the shoulder if a fast approaching car isn't slowing. Keep the car in gear, hands on the wheel, eyes on the mirrors while you watch the flow behind. If the approach looks hot, move now. The damage spreads fast when you sit frozen. 2 seconds following distance is fiction. It's marketing. In real traffic, you need 3 to 5 seconds. More in rain, dark, or glare. Space buys options. It buys one more check, one more lane change, one more full stop without drama. Watch the fixed marker test. When the car ahead passes a sign, count 1 1,000 to 3 1,000 before your nose touches that point. If you're early, you're tailgating. Back off. Your brakes aren't a plan. Time is. Blind spot anchoring is laziness disguised as comfort. You hang in the rear quarter where they'll never see you, and you trust they'll hold a line. Don't. Pass with purpose, or drop back until you can see the driver's face in their mirror. Use mirrors plus quick shoulder checks. Not a head swing, just a snap. Verify, then move. If you're coasting and someone's blind, spot, you're outsourcing your fate. Lane choice errors are preventable. Avoid the pinch lanes by merges and exits where conflict points multiply. If a ramp feeds in, the right lane clogs with late mergers and hard entries. Pick lanes with sight lines. The center lane on multi-lane roads often gives the best buffer and cleanest exits. Scan for lane quality too. Fresh pavement, fewer potholes, fewer seams. Your tires translate that surface into grip. Corner entry commitments start. Before the steering wheel turns, set your speed before the turn. No heavy braking mid-corner. Your eyes to the exit, your hands smooth, your throttle steady. If you misjudge, it's better to open your hands and widen slightly than to add a big brake stab at lean. The car's grip pie is finite. Spend it wisely. Parking on a grade without. This procedure can damage transmissions and lead cars into lawsuits. Use this sequence. Hold the foot brake, Apply the parking brake firmly, then release the pedal so the car settles onto the parking brake. Then, shift to park. This unloads the PAL, the tiny metal tooth that locks your transmission. If you let the whole car rest on that PAL, it can jam or fail. The protocol is simple. Use the brake designed to hold the weight. The reality is brutal. Pre-crash setups decide whether a surprise becomes a story or a statistic. Give yourself space, create exits, bias toward lanes with fewer fights, and anchor your car in a stable position at rest. Now, we stack technique, the moment-to-moment inputs that either keep grip or erase it in a heartbeat. Braking while turning hard. This is the classic front wash. The grip pie is finite. Ask the front tires for heavy steer and heavy brake at once, and they quit both jobs. Brake straight, then turn, then roll into a light maintenance throttle to settle the chassis. If you blow the entry, ease off steering, bleed a little brake gently, and prioritize traction. Big brakes at a big angle? That's a slide. Panic lifts and stabs make the chassis buck. You snap off the throttle. Weight flies to the nose, the rear goes light. Then you jab the gas and shock it again. The car pitches, grip dodges, and stability dies. Keep inputs smooth, predictable, one change at a time. Roll off, then steer. Steer, then roll on. Rhythm saves tires and saves you. Unnecessary downshift in the heat. Turn is self-sabotage. You dump a gear, the revs spike. Engine braking hammers the front tires right when they're busy cornering. Rev-match. Before the corner or wait until you're straight. If you need the downshift mid-bend, blip enough to match, then release the clutch with zero shock. Your drivetrain isn't a brake, it's a balance tool. Riding brakes downhill cooks everything. Heat builds. Fluid boils. Then there's nothing. Downshift early. Use engine braking to hold speed. Pulse the brakes, firm, release, firm, to let airflow cool the rotors. If you smell the fade, you're late. Slow sooner and longer. The damage spreads fast on steep grades. Late merges and dive bomb lane changes carve sharp angles into tiny gaps. That's how bumpers meet and fenders fold. Signal early. Match the speed of the target lane. Slide in parallel, not perpendicular. If the gap isn't clean, wait 10 seconds. 10 seconds beats 10 weeks in a body shop. Reversing momentum while rolling destroys drive lines. Shifting from drive to reverse, or the opposite, before a full stop, slams gears and shocks tires. Full stop first, then shift. It protects your transmission, your mounts, and your traction. That clunk you hear is money leaving your... Wet and low friction etiquette requires slow hands and longer trails. Rain, paint stripes, manhole covers, metal bridges, leaves, they're like liquid sandpaper. Double your gap. Brake earlier, lighter. Feed in throttle like you're squeezing a sponge. Straighten the wheel over slick patches and avoid mid-corner surprises. Debris and pothole protocol is simple. Eyes up so you see it early. If you can't avoid it, straighten the wheel. Ease off the brake just before impact to let the tire roll, then reapply after. Braking hard at impact stuffs the tire and bends wheels. Smooth over, then reset speed. Night and glare control starts with speed to sight distance. If you can't stop inside your headlight throw, you're overdriving. Use high beams when appropriate. When you face oncoming glare, shift your focus to the right edge line to keep your lane reference. Let the bright wash pass. Then, rebuild your scan. You've seen the pattern. Mindset feeds setup feeds inputs, and inputs write the crash report. Some crashes aren't pure driving errors. They're traps built by laws, weather, and money pressure that push you into bad calls. The report will blame speed. The truth is messier. Right on red and rolling stops sound harmless. You ease forward to peak. steering already turned, eyes pinned left for a gap. Meanwhile, a cyclist or pedestrian steps off to your right. You turn into them because your wheels are preloaded. The fix is mechanical. Stop straight, center the wheel, rock forward square until you can see both directions. Scan right, then left, then move. If you can't see, don't go. Tickets are cheaper than funerals. Four-way stops breed fake politeness that causes real crashes. You wave someone through, they wave you, and the third driver goes because both of you hesitated. The rule is time-based, not vibes. First to stop, first to go. If you tie, yield to the right. If you still tie, communicate with decisive movement. Waving breaks the protocol and invites chaos. The damage spreads fast when predictability fails. School zones and bus stops are legal minefields. The report might say unsafe speed. The real error is failing to anchor to non-negotiables. Flashing lights mean 20 to 25 miles per hour max, full stop for a bus with the stop arm out, and no passing in either direction on undivided roads. Police write these up hard, and judges don't bargain much. The stakes are bigger than fines, points. Insurance hikes, license suspension, slow, early, and hold. Move over and slow down laws, save lives on shoulders. Most drivers ignore them until blue lights appear. The consequence isn't just a ticket, it's a secondary crash. You see hazard flashers, you freeze, and you pass a foot from a person standing in the gore point. Shift left early and scrub speed now. If you can't move over, reduce your speed to 20 miles per hour and pass wide within your lane. It's not optional. Work zones change the physics. Narrow lanes, shifted barriers, temporary paint, and polished steel plates. At night or in rain, those plates are like liquid sandpaper. They devour motorcycles and spin cars. Cut speed. Before the lane shift, not in the middle. No heavy inputs on the plate. Straighten the wheel, coast across, then exit. Weather is an amplifier. First rain lifts oil. That rainbow sheen isn't pretty, it's slick. Dry dust becomes sludge. Snow isn't the only low-friction event. Fog is a killer because it erases depth cues. Your brain misjudges speed, your foot brakes late, and the pileup forms. Response is protocol. Double your gap, lights on low beam to avoid backscatter, fog lines as your anchor. Avoid using cruise control in low traction conditions. Cruise control will chase a set speed and add throttle where you would ease off. Wind deserves respect. Crosswinds on bridges and open plains can push you sideways. A high-sided SUV or an empty pickup truck gets shoved like a sail. You overcorrect, then the gust stops, and you snap back into the adjacent lane. Counter this by loosening your grip and biasing your lane. Position upwind and feed small steering corrections instead of big swings. If you see dust plumes ahead, expect gusts and preload your mind for them. Heat kills drivers silently. Cabin temperatures spike judgment errors. Dehydrated brains miss closing speeds and drift into microsleeps. On long drives, treat hydration as a control input. Drink water every hour. Ventilation is for you, not just the car. If you're sweating through the seat, your reaction time is already slower. Nighttime economy traps your wallet and your safety. Cheap tires, expired inspection, and ignored recalls look like savings until a crash puts a spotlight on them. Insurance adjusters read the car like a ledger. Bald tires and broken lights turn a clean claim into a liability fight. Maintain the car because the legal aftermath is brutal if you don't. Parking lots aren't harmless. They're unsignalized intersections with pedestrians everywhere. Backup cameras are tools, not guarantees. Cameras distort distance. Glare washes screens. Backing out of a space between SUVs is a blind launch into cross traffic. The fix is simple. Pull through when you can, so you leave forward. If you must back out, creep, stop, creep again. Pause long enough to let moving pedestrians reveal themselves. Horn taps are cheap insurance. The paperwork will say failure to yield. Reality says you backed into a crowd with a blindfold. Towing and trailers multiply risk. Tongue weight wrong? The trailer fishtails and steers the truck. Chains crossed? Good. Not crossed? A dropped hitch spears into asphalt and vaults the rig. Brakes set for empty? Loaded downhill becomes a runaway. The proper sequence is non-negotiable. Correct tongue weight. Roughly 10 to 15% of trailer weight. Tires at maximum cold pressure. Brake controller tested. Mirrors extended. Speeds capped lower than usual. And wider turns to protect tires from curb cuts. If it sways, don't fight with steering. Ease off the throttle, hold it straight, and let it settle. Financial traps shape bad decisions. High deductibles and fear of rate hikes push drivers to run from minor collisions or avoid calling a tow for a car that's not road safe. That's how bent tie rods and leaking radiators end up doing highway speeds. Don't put your balance sheet behind the wheel. If the car is questionable, it's parked. A tow bill is cheap compared to a wrongful death suit. Enforcement zones and unmarked cars trigger a different error. Panic braking. You spot a cruiser at the last second and stomp the pedal mid-lane with a tailgater behind you. The fix is policy, not reflex. Drive to the conditions and ignore the trap. Set cruise where it makes sense, manage following distance, and stop thinking you can outreact physics. If you see lights, move right, signal early, and be predictable. The ticket you fear is cheaper than the pileup you cause. None of this shows up as the cause in a tidy line item, but it's the scaffolding behind unsafe speed and failure to yield. Learn the traps, follow the protocols, and you won't star in someone else's report. Crash reports keep the story shallow. They stamp loss of control and move on. But you've seen the real chain. Vehicle condition sets the ceiling. Your mindset sets your margin. Positioning buys exits. Technique preserves grip. Laws, weather, and money pressure bend your decisions at the worst moments. Here's the playbook you can run today. Inspect tires, brakes, lights, and wipers. Fix what's weak. Set your driving position for full control. Warm up your head the first 10 minutes. Scan on a cadence. Build space. Own an escape lane. Offset at lights. Finish braking upright. Smooth inputs. No panic stabs. Respect weather. Slow early. No cruise in low traction. Anchor to non-negotiables. School zones, buses, move-over laws. Don't let finances override safety. If the car is sketchy, it's parked. The damage spreads fast when you ignore one link. But the wins compound even faster when you fix them all. Start implementing these habits on your next drive. If you're finding these hidden car secrets as mind-blowing as I am, hit subscribe. Watch the next breakdown. Your car will reward